finding buttons. There they were. Hello, hi.
Hello.
I totally didn't have to look for where the buttons of the volume and mute was. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So Holy's joining me on the Discord again this time.
Yes.
No gangly person next to me, sadly.
Not this time, no.
Not this time. How is everyone doing? Hello.
Yes, hello.
How are you, Holy?
I am alright. I am doing alright.
Good.
And how about you?
Still a little bit of a stomachache. I'm nervous, as you usually am, but we'll get there.
Alright.
Well, then there's your answer, Dry Wolf.
Yeah.
Also doing alright. Everyone's doing alright. I think that's a good thing.
It is a very average day.
Yes. Basic Sunday.
Yeah. On a scale from 1 to 10, a passing grade.
Yes. I am average.
Yeah.
Now don't get me started on normal or weird, because then I'm not average anymore, then I'm weird.
Oh, just average.
But no.
What?
I hate how wrong and technically correct you are.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
It's a C, not a K.
It's a C for cranberries.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is why I said I hate that you're technically correct.
Well, the problem doesn't lie with me. The problem lies with that letter.
Yes, that is true. Although I do think that in certain countries it's actually just a letter and they use it in the same way. But a lot of countries use the C for both. And
A lot of countries don't even use the C.
True. Or it's a CH sound, which makes it different regardless.
D for Dragon Wolf. Well, wouldn't he be happy with that?
He would be happy with that, yes. I was gonna say something that I shouldn't.
Alright. Then you shouldn't.
Now he's gonna wanna know. And an E for re, but that starts with the re. No, I'm not gonna say it. I knew I was gonna do that. I can do that. Sure.
Are you gonna explain a joke, or are you gonna...
I'm gonna make the joke in DMs.
The ch for chorizo, yes! Exactly. You got it, Vix. C is for cookies.
Yes, C is for cookies. And chorizo is also great, just not in combination with each other. At least not in my opinion.
But the C in cookies is a K.
Yes.
So I am still correct.
I think for most of the words where a word starts with C, it's actually a K. Most probably not all of them, but a lot of them.
Well, if it were all of them, then it wouldn't have the S sound at all.
Yes,
associated with the C.
Because the
C.
No, a C can be in the middle of a word where it is an S.
Well, yeah, okay.
I'm merely saying that a lot of the words that start with a C will start with a K sound instead of an S sound. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it does depend on which letters afterwards, yes. Because like with the H, it's ch.
Yeah. It depends on which letter comes after. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Like in car or ceiling, which starts with a C and sounds like an S.
Yes. I can imagine that any harsher letter that comes after it makes it a K, and every softer letter, like an E or an H, would be an S sound.
I understand what you mean, but I don't agree.
You don't have to agree. I said I can imagine. I didn't say that was the correct thing.
Yeah, but I don't think an E is less harsh than an A.
In that case, then all vowels would be soft, but I wouldn't agree with that either. But that is phonetics, so that is very difficult to. Everyone views that a little differently. That's opinion-based, not fact-based.
Yeah.
You can pick from the 46 from the Slovak alphabet if you. The C actually sounds like a C.
Well, yeah, but does the C in this sentence sound like a C, or does it sound like a K? Or an S? You don't know, because it's letters.
Yeah. Phonetics are difficult sometimes.
Yes.
They're interesting.
C, yes, but is that a C or is that a K? You don't know.
See,
yeah, exactly.
The issue here, Vix, is that we don't know how you would pronounce your entire alphabet. So you could go into your alphabet being like A, B, K, D, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know that because it's a different alphabet from ours. Ramdu hasn't been in streams for a while. We've had this conversation in your stream so often.
Uh-huh.
You follow only 23 letters. I mean, there's a few that aren't really used all that much.
There's a couple of letters that have been dropped. Technically, there should be 29 in the English alphabet.
That's fair. Oh,
shut up.
Bad. Bruh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. God damn it.
I mean, that's the same level of joke that I used to make with Golem. Stupid.
Yeah. Stupid Sunday joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly. God damn. But yeah, there should have been technically another letter in the alphabet is ampersand.
Mm-hmm.
That is a letter, even though it's not a letter anymore.
Was that the squiggly one?
Yes.
Okay.
The one above the 7.
Mine doesn't have that.
Yours doesn't have an ampersand on the 7?
No.
Shift 7?
No.
That one.
Well, it's a different one than I thought, but it does work. Yes, understand.
That's the ampersand. So for anyone in chat, it's this one.
Either it looks ridiculously wrong on my keyboard, because all of them are kind of blocky, so a curl is kind of difficult for them or something.
Well, DM it to me then. Just press Shift 7.
Yeah, no, I do think it's the correct one, actually. Yeah, it is the correct one. I can see it.
There you go.
But it looks really like 2 little screens. So, like, I could have imagined that being my lock for the pad, for my mouse pad. That's how it looks.
Okay.
So it's really blocky.
Well, your keyboard also has a shit font.
It kind of does, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, for the letters, it's quite clear.
ampersand is number 27 in the alphabet. There was the th, and there's a f, which now has been replaced with th and ph.
Fair.
But those had their own letters. The f sound is...
Well, wouldn't there also have been the EA? Or AE? Either?
AE is a letter... Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know if that is in the English alphabet.
That's fair.
Because either is a borrowed word from Scandinavian, I think. The Aesir.
Yeah. I don't actually know that either. No. I just know that they are words in both the English, and there are even 1 or 2 words in Dutch that have that. Whether or not they're supposed to have that, that's a different story. But they are. They do exist.
But yeah, as far as I know, the English language has 29 characters, and the AE was a borrowed one from the Norse, I think.
I do like that there are still languages that have such a different alphabet, even though that most words at least sound doable. So you would be able to write them down phonetically in our alphabet, while they have, like, for example, Russian is illegible to us if they write it in Russian. Same for Arabic.
Greek.
And Greek.
Most Asian languages.
Yeah. Well, that yesn't, because they have actually gone to a place where it's not just written down phonetically, but they have words in our alphabet that are correct, and they have kanji and all those types of drawn languages. I don't know how to say that, but like the symbols instead of our letters. But they started out with having them phonetically, which wasn't an official language, but now they do actually have those words all in words that are correct and are technically the same language and not just phonetic.
You lost me halfway.
That's fair. I'm trying to...
I was kind of lost at the things that are things that weren't things but now are things.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, but that's okay.
I think your mind also translates it to symbols that you recognize and are able to use. If it sounds like those letters, so you turn it into those. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say it like 3 times this stream after every chapter, but words are hard.
There's a lot of them.
Even in languages that I do know.
Yeah.
In accents that I don't.
From a writer that isn't yourself.
Yeah, thanks.
there are some wonderful sentences in this piece that I like to write.
I'll be proud to be able to actually write. Read, yes.
Yes. I love to write those sentences because they sound mysterious and they feel correct in reading, just not in saying them.
During these streams, Apple, I feel exactly the same. I can't speak. What do you mean?
I often feel that way as well.
But yeah, Holly has a tendency to make extremely difficult sentences, and then they are the ones that I need to read, and then all of his are doable.
Yes. There's a certain rhythm to my sentences. And if you don't follow that rhythm, you'll stumble.
No.
The problem is that rhythm is not legible in text.
Well, to a point with commas and points or dots. things like that. But yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah,
really
but
difficult
like
sometimes.
4 words in a row.
Yo, welcome in. Thank you so much.
Yo, how are you doing?
How are you doing? We haven't started yet. You can still hang out for a second.
Fuck yeah. Well, right back at you for a good day and good stream. Well, good day.
At the very least, good day. Terrible and busy. Oh, I wish.
Well, then I wish you a better day.
Yes. Have a
I
plushie.
hope it goes better.
Yeah.
Said
have a plushie. No?
Oh,
that sucks. I do hope you get through that easily.
My corona.
My brother-in-law actually has it too, so we couldn't celebrate my sister's birthday, which is a little bit sad.
Just celebrate it later.
Maybe. Kind of depends on if she wants to. She's extremely busy. She has a really good job in Rotterdam.
Well, the thing is about a birthday. Yes, it might be the day that you will turn a new age, but you're gonna be that age for an entire year.
She could celebrate it on the day before her next birthday and then celebrate again the day after.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know if she's gonna. We'll see. If she does, we will get there. But otherwise,
well,
next year.
On the other hand, she isn't 80.
No.
So there's a likelihood that she'll make it to next year.
Wow. And next year is also going to be a bigger milestone because she's going to be 35 then.
Yeah.
Probably wants to celebrate that a bit more. Hello, Rob. Welcome in.
Yes,
How
welcome.
How are you doing? But yeah, we'll see. And then next weekend we're actually celebrating Seventh Sister because we all have our birthday in February, and I'm really glad that they didn't line up with each other.
Yeah.
Because in real life they do. So was that last weekend? Yes, last weekend we celebrated my birthday here and Ram's birthday here.
Yeah.
Then this weekend we would have celebrated my sister's birthday on her birthday, which was Saturday, so yesterday. And then the day before that was actually Seventh Sister's birthday. And she was like, oh no, I'm celebrating it on the 25th because it's a little bit too busy around my actual birthday. So it kind of lined up nicely. And then his nephew actually celebrated a week early because I told him that I was going to celebrate mine in that weekend. But his birthday is before mine. And then my dad was like, I'm not celebrating. I was like, that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
They were like, we're going to go on a holiday and just evade everyone.
Yes.
So he had a nice holiday somewhere. I don't know. Somewhere east. Towards you.
Yeah.
Where there's more air to breathe instead of car fumes, you know.
Yes. Oxygen-rich environments.
Yes. Like a lot of trees and stuff.
Well, I wouldn't say that much. It's still...
No, well, where they were, there was more.
It's still the same way too fully built country.
Yeah, but that's not everywhere, though. Especially compared to where I am, compared to where you are. And then they are somewhere in the middle, which already has a lot more landscape than either of our two places. But
you did say, like, more towards you, where the air is better to breathe and where it's not crowded as hell. Well, it is crowded as hell.
Just less so than here.
I doubt that.
I don't know.
Thing is, I live in a city.
Yeah, I do too. But I have like 3 cities at biking distance. I think you actually need to bike quite far for the next city.
Well, yes, but the city I live in, before I get out of this city, you are in another one.
Oh, that's kind of what I meant here.
You can bike out of your city and into the next one in about an hour.
I mean, I could do that in about 20 minutes.
I doubt I get out of this city in 20 minutes.
That's fair. Yours is bigger than mine, but we have more around us.
Yes.
Well, especially towards the beach. Looking
Yes.
from our place, basically.
Then again, the city that I live in is about 3 times the size of yours.
Yeah, exactly. Your city is bigger, but our area is, I think, a bit bigger.
I don't know.
Well, most of my teachers, at the very least, were already saying that this side of the country is the fullest. Like everywhere along the west side of our country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only gotten worse.
Yeah.
But then there are other cities that are definitely bigger. Especially the one you're living in. You are living in the biggest city on the east.
Yes.
Yes. Go north a little bit, there's nothing.
I know. My brother lives there.
Yeah, I figured it was that way. I wasn't sure actually, but I figured.
Yeah.
I like how nondescript we're making this, but also like really detailed. It is definitely the most crowded part of the country, yes.
I mean, I'm not gonna like say names.
No, exactly. That's what I was not doing, exactly.
Yeah.
It's and we are, like, compared to all of the other countries, a very, very, very full
Densely
country.
populated. Yeah.
Yes, especially if you look at something like America, they have about the like per square inch or square meter, I don't care. We have like 10 more people, or 10 more houses, at least.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
If I doubled the city's number, it'd still be 3 times smaller than yours, which would be 6 times then. That is quite small. But it's still a city.
We also, especially Dutch people, we have a really weird way of when something is a city and when it isn't. So we have The Hague, which a lot of people know. That's actually a village. It's not a city.
It is a very, very large village.
And then we have Rijswijk, which is right next to it, which is like half the size, and that is a city. It's absolutely stupid, because that is just the way that it used to be. And then no one changed it. And yeah, now we have like one village that is huge and one city that is kind of tiny. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's very small.
It's not true anymore. The way they give that status has been scrapped since 2005. I think it's still true, though. They did get city status. Okay, well. Wow. They've been bigger than, for example, Rijswijk for ages. Not just the last, 25 years? No, almost 25 years.
1 to 2,000 people here. What?
That's not a lot. That's actually smaller than my birth town now. Which back then it was that small, but not anymore.
I actually looked up. If it's 1 to 2,000 people in Vixie's area, there is about 50 to 100 times bigger where you live.
Wow.
Because you live in a city with about 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a city with about 240,000.
Yeah, I expected that to be way more.
So, at the high end of Vixie's village, I am still over 100 times bigger here.
There's only about 5 million living in her country at all.
Well, yeah.
I like, we had a song, like, way back when I was young, we had a song that was like 15 million people in the Netherlands. And then they had to up that to 17 million people. And
Which is already not true anymore because it's now 19.
Yeah. There were more people in my uni. Yeah, no, that's actually also fair.
Yeah.
But you did go to uni in a really big town as well. Or city. Right?
Debatable. It's just a very big uni.
Then I guess I had the incorrect one in my head. But I'm not going to say names of towns. So
It's not super large. It is quite big, but it's not like.
Well, I thought it was
the
one of the
biggest
two
one.
big cities in Belgium.
No.
And I guess it was wrong. Good. Then I think I do know where it was then, but I thought it was one of the two big ones.
Yeah.
But I guess it wasn't then, because that would have been really fair.
Yeah.
And it's the one somewhere in between where you live now and the other one.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. It's fine. I doubt it's bigger than most universities, so they usually are big. That is true. I think the technical university here in my city is also quite large. I think it actually has the most of the people that Holly just mentioned that live on campus there.
Yeah.
It was in Ghent. Okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. I just didn't want to just suddenly.
Yeah, exactly.
So it wasn't the one I initially thought, but it was the one that after he said that it wasn't the big one, I was the second one that I thought it might be. So that was true.
That was past Antwerp, right? So West End.
I thought it was more towards the east. So I thought it was between Antwerp and where you live now. About 600k lives in the capital only. It's certainly less crowded outside of the two major cities. Well, 3 major cities. Huh? Fair.
Okay.
Only 3 major cities. Can you imagine? Definitely
further than Antwerp, yeah.
Fair enough. On July 22nd of 2022, the Netherlands had 17 million, 17.5 million people.
Oh.
Estimated will reach 18 million in 2028.
Well, in that case, the song is still correct. The new one.
Yes, that is true. Almost 18 million, yes.
I really thought we were already over 18.
And you do, think that it goes really fast, but if you realize that there's about, it used to be that you had one person passing away for 3 children growing. That's not true anymore, because there's so many more people that have now a voice that say, I don't want children.
And that's why that era was called the baby boomer area.
So it's equalized a lot more. So it isn't actually, it doesn't go as fast anymore because not everyone feels compelled to have to get children.
A soul for a soul.
Oh, apparently a soul for 3.
Well, then yes, but now not anymore.
Exactly. I think both you and us, you two and us, are not really want to get children. So there's already a good example of people being
Oh, well, not really is technically the other way around.
I didn't really want to I didn't want to make it very set. I was I'll leave that up to you, but I knew that there was no love for children there. And Seven and I were well, if it would happen, then it happens, but preferably not. So
if it does happen, it doesn't happen. That's our stand on it.
It's fair. I'd be too scared to what my body needs to go through to not, but I'm also scared to what it would go through if I do. So, it would be a very big discussion of what will we do now? So stay safe, kids. It's a thing. It's a decision, and I'm glad that people are now making it for themselves and not just being oh, well, this person, their parents are being you need to get a child now because I want to be a grandmother. Well, I don't want a child.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, I don't want a child.
I want grandchildren. Then you should make more children to make more grandchildren. Fuck you. I'm not doing it.
I've actually had the comment from my mother being I would like to be a grandmother, and I would go well, technically you are. And she's yeah, but I don't have contact with your sister, so I would like to be a grandmother. Well, that's not gonna happen. Like, not willingly, at least. And she would, like, be upset that I don't want children. Like, it's not her choice to make. And
No,
I'm glad
absolutely not.
I'm really glad that our generation, and I know that technically you and I are in a different generation, but like the closest to us are all like, we have a voice. If we don't want this, it sucks to be you. It's not going to happen.
Oh, well, I don't have contact with those. Yeah, and whose fault is that?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she doesn't have contact with me now either, so, you know, it's a thing.
And whose fault is that?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You expect me to have a child when I'm a child myself. Not like it's possible for me
Exactly.
to know my area. I mean, yeah. In that way, I would still consider adoption also getting a child, Vixie, because they will be yours. You will have them grow up. It's if that is something you choose. Yes, if that is something you choose, they will be just as much your child as a biological one would be, because you care for them and you are their parent.
But I do agree on the. I'm not gonna have a child. I am one.
Yes. I mean, a lot of the younger generations are just in this sort of transitioning stage of being like, hold up, we can set boundaries to our parents too.
Yes.
And I'm definitely right smack in the middle of that, with a few mental issues to boot, courtesy of my mother. But it's
whose fault is that?
Exactly, courtesy of my mother. Like, it's the thing. It's people are now suddenly being like, hey, hold up, I can actually set this boundary because it's me that we're talking about, not them. Yeah. I think it's a good thing, but a lot of people still need to figure out how to actually deal with that, and not just the parents. It's also our generation needing to figure out, like, oh, wait, hold up, I can actually do this. If I hold to this, no one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
Would more say, you expect me to have a child while they still treat me as one. Yeah, that's also...
Yeah.
It does happen, yes. But yeah, it sucks that it used to be so normalized that that parents of children would be like, well, you're now 18, you better go get married, better go get a child. No, I want to make a career. But you're a woman. So?
Yeah.
Like, I would like to work with animals. I would not like to sit at home with three crying children because you want me to have children. There's enough kids in the world.
Those are animals.
Those are animals, and I don't like those.
You want to work with animals? Sit at home with 3 monkeys.
I don't like those monkeys. I would prefer actual monkeys. They are nicer.
I don't like actual monkeys either.
That's okay. You don't have to work with them. You can be the goat monkey.
Yes.
Yes. That's the only way I'd possibly have one. Even if I wanted one, it's medically impossible. That's fair.
Ah.
That's fair. But I would still consider an adoptive child a child of yours. As long as you want one. That was kind of more my point. Like, either way, whether it's biological or not, I would always consider it your child because you are raising it.
I do believe that it is still possible.
And it kind of depends on why she's saying that it's impossible. Because I could imagine it not being possible in a woman standpoint, but I don't know any differences for her male parts, to say it nicely. Yeah. So there could be reasons why, like hormones, for example, could render you sterile. I would not know. She would, but I wouldn't know.
I don't know, but yeah, there's many ways to create a child. Technically, it is possible through skin cells.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yes. So it is possible. I may be wrong.
Not in
Oh,
humans
not in
yet.
humans. Okay.
I mean, that would mean that there is a possibility that it will become possible at some point. That's cloning, yeah. I kind of expected as much.
Ah, okay.
I mean, even that, I don't know if they've actually perfected that in animals yet.
Perfected? No. But
they've made
making babies is also not perfection.
No, definitely not.
That has been the same way since like the dawn of time.
Yeah.
There's zero perfection in there.
We are very off topic for story.
Are we?
We started with phonetics. That was actually kind of on brand with the wording things. It's possible. I think it often fails. Yeah, that's what I meant with not perfecting it. Sterile, the thingies down there don't work, so regardless, neither way would really work. Yeah. That's why I said, like, there might be a reason why. Yeah. That's fair. It sucks, but unless you don't want children, then it doesn't suck.
I mean, that's very useful.
What do you mean?
It's very useful to not have to worry about that at all.
True. But again, only if you don't want children.
Well, I think that was kind of clear.
Wait, for you? I don't know if she actually said.
For probably like 90% of the chat.
Maybe. I didn't feel like her comments were like, I don't want a child, but if I did. Which is why I said, like, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I kind of read that from, you expect me to have a child when I'm a child myself.
Yeah, but that could still mean, like, maybe in the future.
I don't know, regardless.
Yeah. It's fine either way. I mean, if you do want them, good luck to you. If you don't want one, it's also fair. Like
if you do want them, my condolences. If you don't want them, condolences either way. Anyway.
Yeah.
Shall we do the thing that we were here for?
Exactly.
We've been rambling for 40 minutes.
Is everybody ready for a chapter?
Is everybody awake still?
It's a great question. Not having any child whatsoever currently. That is a fair assessment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's clear speech.
Yes, please. Well, that's one.
Yawn. Bitch, thank you.
I guess we're not reading if Ichi's too tired. Sucks.
Yep, everybody back up. We got sleepers.
So we're gonna go play more Stardew, right? Alright, see ya.
This is the fucking SpongeBob meme of I'm a head out.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go. Let's get ready.
I mean, I could also do boop. Thanks for the chat. Yeah, very useful. That was all. That's it, folks. So, who's gonna do exclamation point ready?
That's all, folks.
Exactly. There she is. I knew it was going to be Apple.
Hell yeah.
Are you ready?
I am ready, otherwise I wouldn't have asked for it.
That's fair.
Well, are you ready?
I am. I was gonna start. Shush. Chapter 25. After being on the water for about 2 hours, they could clearly see the small dock they would be arriving at. The island looked beautiful from the boat. A large tree-covered mountain in the north and lower lands towards the south. There was a rocky coast where they would disembark, but they could see the beginnings of a beach to the south. It's beautiful.
Yes, it certainly is a sight to behold.
So, I read something about a mountain being a huge tourist location. Can you tell us anything about this gorgeous lump of rock?
Ida said to Captain Salmon. I lost it.
It's the hillbilly accent.
Yes, I know.
Well, then do it.
I'm lost. I don't know where it went. You mean Waraxia? Yes, most people we transport come here for a chance to see the mountain or have a little day out on the beach.
Waraxia? What a wonderful specimen! Is there any ancient knowledge about it? Since the mountain we found was called Witch Mountain. I don't know if that's related.
Witch Mountain? It might be. The natives would know if Waraxia is Witch Mountain, but no luck for me. You got me. The captain responded, shrugging. Are there people local to the area? Valentina asked, her interest piqued.
Is the mountain dangerous?
No more dangerous than any other wildlife location. That is, if you can climb. The natives are Nas people, though small. Valentina could barely contain her excitement, but the captain had to help Douglas to prepare the ship for mooring.
Thank you ever so much for your information. We shall be exploring these rock walls to our heart's content.
Ida's put on a more posh tone to keep up with the charade. When the ship was properly anchored, the group thanked the crew of two once more and headed into the small port town. Lachlan suggested heading into a pub to find the locals, as it would be best to gather more information on the rocky spires of Waraxia. Ida exclaimed her disgust with drunkards and pubgoers.
Filthy people, all of them.
With which Ira agreed.
Well then, what's your idea?
What if we split up? Hazard can join you in gathering information on the mountain, while another group, myself included, go look for a place to stay in the surrounding area. What do you say?
Then I think I will join them in the pub. There may be someone to write about in there.
I get to work in a pub? Sign me up!
Hazard said with a wicked grin on his face. Zenith, Ira, and Delira joined Ida's to indicate they would go with her. One of us could meet you there in an hour to show where we have set up camp.
Phenomenal plan. We'll be sure to have some information by then.
Lachlan said as he swung open the saloon-style doors and the sound of the pub overshadowed his voice. The four ladies stood in that spot for a second, hoping that their friends weren't going to get kicked out for any reason. I think they've properly joined the ruckus, Ira said after a minute of looking at the closed doors.
Yeah, me too. But you never know with Hazard and crowded areas.
I'm sure they'll have a story to tell when they join us later. The women headed to the outskirts of the little town and searched for a place to set up camp. The spot the women chose to set up their camp was a good while away from the edge of town, in the direction of the mountain. They had some shelter from the trees and a sandy ground. They already started looking for some stones to contain a fire pit in. The cloud-dotted blue sky turned bright orange in the setting sunlight. Streaks of light bursting from behind the clouds and over the mountain tops, reflecting off the waters they came from.
Good thing you told us to settle here, Ira. Now we have enough time to set up camp before sundown,
Ida said, hauling a rock to the makeshift camp. It's a pretty place, too, Zenith said, looking up towards the mountain. Agreed, Delira muttered, looking out over the sea. And what kind of provisions did you get? I could prepare a nice meal once we have a fire going.
Mostly vegetables. Greens, oranges, blues, all kinds of stuff. I also got some meat. In other words, we're set for whatever you want to cook.
Ida's dropped the rock from her arms. She wiped the sweat from her forehead with her shirt, leaving brown-black stains along her brow. The sunset didn't let up the sweltering heat that much, and combined with the heavy labor of carrying small boulders, the work was exhausting. The Lyra started collecting some twigs and bigger blocks of wood. Luckily, it was all very dry because of the warm days they'd been having.
I'll make a vegetable stew, and then when the others are here, we can roast some of the meat for who wants some,
Zenith said, grabbing one of the last stones to create the circle. Ira also came walking up with several sticks and branches.
I like the little band you guys put together. If I understood correctly, you three met first?
That would be correct. It's a while ago now that we've been together. I've always preferred being alone. No one to worry about but yourself. But it's nice sometimes to have friends.
You were so scared I was going to damage things back then. I'm glad you trusted us enough to help out. I'm still worried I'll break things while landing,
Zenith muttered, making the others laugh.
So, I've been to the workshop. I can guess what you do with your time, I guess. I do wonder what keeps you all busy before this quest started. How'd you end up here? My dad always inspired me to become a scholar back home. But when my brother came home years ago, he inspired me to explore other options,
Zenith said, building the little pyre in the pit.
I work from that shop, building machines that run on magic. Both the craft and location are Mido family heirlooms, worth nothing to anyone in my family, but it's worth the world to me,
Ida said, laid in the grass, staring at the darkening sky.
That sounds priceless to me.
I've been trying to figure out my heritage, who came before me, what it meant to be a nymph, back when we were abundant. They were all silent for a moment.
What about you, Ira? Now you know our stories. What about yours?
Ida asked, leaning up on her forearms.
I investigate anything and everything. I've been a curious person my entire life. I can't let go of a mystery. This seemed the perfect line of work. I've learned more about all the stones from you all than I did in the past 6 months investigating. I'm very grateful.
You knew about these stones. What more can you tell us about them?
But the only thing I knew is that there was a relic that I was supposed to find. It was rumored to be captivating, but now I know that might have been a mistranslation.
Well, captivating would suggest something else than what the stone really does, but in a way, it seems like a good translation.
How's the food going? Let us know when it's almost ready so we can go fetch the crew from the tavern. It'll be ready in half an hour or so. I used some heavy roots. Locke explained to me that they give energy for much longer, but they also take longer to soften. Then we got more time to talk. The Lyra, you're a nymph of the water tribes. What's it like beneath the surface?
The fire in Ira's investigative eyes burned with questions. It's different everywhere, but it's special every time. Very free, she said, her cheeks turning rosy with the attention.
Spectacular! I've always been a city person. Bustling streets and many things to see is what I prefer. I'm from a small village. If it weren't for my family, Tarlan wouldn't have made it onto any map. My grandfather helped design the first trains, and thus the town got the station in his legacy. What about you, Z? I'm from home. A special place I can't really explain well. It has halls full of stories, orchards, and gardens. It's home. That sounds lovely too. When this veritable quest is over, let's visit each other's places sometimes. Except we already visit Ida's place daily, almost daily, of course.
Shifting from glee into a slight nervous chuckle.
Well, speaking of our veritable quest, there is still one relic, supposedly hidden in the water. I don't think we should send the Lyra into the water alone again. Is there something we could do to help?
Zenith asked, skirting around the question.
Indeed. It might not be wise to search for something so powerful without any of us to back you up. With a little bit of air crystal shenanigans, I should be able to make some respirators for underwater. I would need some other material than my usual rusted metal, though, if we don't want to get any evil diseases. Dinner's almost ready.
Zenith scooped up some chunks of the roots from the pot to see if they were soft enough.
Perfect. The smell was getting too delicious. It was almost torture. Ira, you want to join me in fetching the others from the town?
Ida's got up.
Certainly. We'll be back soon,
the lady said, smiling at the two still sitting on the ground. As the two made their way into town, the lovely smell of vegetables slowly left them behind. Chapter. So many words.
So many words.
I had issue.
Yeah, I noticed. That's okay, though.
I got there, though. That was the voice, but it took a little too long to get there.
It was the voice.
I mean, that is the difference between doing a voice recording of a book and doing this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I mess up, I mess up, and that's here forever. If I mess up in an audiobook, I can just redo it until I get it right.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I got there anyway. That I got the right voice eventually. She's gonna come back if they have to get off the island at some point.
Yep.
I hope everyone is liking it.
I am.
Oh, that's good. You only had like 6 sentences.
Yeah.
Less probably, actually. I didn't go through them. I had 2 of Locke, or 3. And 1 or 2 of Hazard. It went in the end, I think. Yeah, Salen is a
4.
thing. 4. This is 2 each.
3 of Lachlan, 1 of Hazard.
Yes. I mean, easy times for Holy. This entire story has been more females than males. He's finally getting a few more in this next chapter. Just at least for them. So that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say, is everyone ready to just hop into the next one?
I mean, technically, yes, it is always easier times for me because I'm a little better with voice acting.
Yes. Also, you don't have to narrate everything else.
Yeah.
So either way, like both ways, you have it easier in that regard.
Like even if I have 5 different voices in one sentence or in one panel, which is actually going to come up.
Yes.
It's not that bad because I know how to switch a little faster.
I switched between the normal voices a lot better than a new voice. And that is kind of why Salen was such an issue. It's such a different voice than what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. Or different accent. The voice is fine.
Yeah.
The accent is what trips me up big time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think between the original cast, so especially Ira, because that is a different accent, I am doing quite well. Comparatively to like the beginning of this book.
Yeah.
I like the Irish though. It's a great accent.
It's fun.
It's a lot more
a fun accent.
Springy. Like it's almost singy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. So there might be more Irish accents in the future.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be able to make it Scottish.
Scottish is a different beast entirely.
Yes.
It is a very similar yet very different one.
Yeah, I think that the very similar is the issue here. I would just default back into the Irish.
Yeah.
Well, no one's really responding. Should we just hop into the next one?
Just make one character, make an Australian. Just butcher it entirely.
I'll make a male Australian.
Please don't. Because I can't do that.
Are you okay with accents? You've only done voices. You're great with
I'm not great with accents, no.
I'm glad I'm doing okay with the Irish one. The other one is definitely something to get used to. I would be able to do that if I did it more. I would probably switch into it easier then too.
There's a lot of big mouth movements in Australian, where in well, you have basically the same kind of sentence structure in British or in Cockney, for example, where you would have "good day, mate" as a hello.
Yeah.
But in Australian, it's a lot more. It's larger, so it's "good day, mate."
Yeah.
So you have way bigger vowels.
Should have made Valentina have a deeper voice so Holly could have fun with that. I mean, I
would have
think
been cool.
that one would have been the only female voice that we could have given to him. I think that would have probably worked out.
I think that would have been very, very funny, actually.
So would Holly then have to up his voice? Or
Yes.
I don't know. She says the deeper voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I up my voice, it's still deeper than yours.
Yeah, that's true. That's generally a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Vixie, we always have the next book. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be more males in that one, just because I have a headache after every stream because of how much I have to say.
Yes. I mean, to be honest, I think that is the case, even if it were just male characters and you on narration.
I don't know. Maybe. A deeper female voice. Yeah. I mean, Delira is my deepest voice. I can't go lower than her. And sometimes she sounds a little lower than other times, because at that point, I can't reach that low. I have a very
I'm not good with female voices.
I have a very big issue with going low. My voice wants to go up.
Mm-hmm. My voice wants to go down.
All my voice does is uppies, uppies.
Yeah. If I up my voice, I get nasally.
I mean, technically that is what I am. I always sound a little nasally, but that's because that's where my voice naturally lays. Somewhere here. Right behind. So it's like between my throat, and that is actually where I feel my voice most.
Mostly joking. Not entirely joking, just mostly.
So Vixie, if you get to make another character, you're gonna make it female but have him do the voice for it?
I wonder if I could do that.
I think you could. You just go a little higher than, for example...
Yeah, I don't know.
You already went sort of higher for Zerfer.
Mm-hmm. Zerfer was just soft.
Yeah, that's also true. I think he would be
mellow.
fine too. I think he'd have to practice. But I have the same...
I'm gonna have to write that down. I think I'll be fine, yes, but I do need practice.
Yeah. It's the same with me and Salon. Like, if I do that every single stream, if she were a permanent fixture in the story, I probably would be fine just switching into it. I just need time to actually get there.
A mainstay.
Or have a word, like I have with Aira. So if I don't know how to do the Irish accent right off the bat, the only thing I do is Irish. Because then my brain immediately goes to that voice to say Irish. And then I just go into that voice.
You want to have that voice for a trigger word for that voice?
Yeah, hillbilly.
Nashville, Tennessee. I think that's going to be a fine trigger word.
Well, you write that down.
It's your voice.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out what works for me. It's time for the boy, but I have this boy. Is that okay?
Here comes the boy.
I mean, it's also kind of subjective what is a male or a female voice. That is true. That is very true.
Yes.
Aru.
It is a voice. What kind of voice? Voice, the one that makes sound.
Yes. The one that does blah blah blah.
Yes.
Blah blah blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
I don't do blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so what I hear now is we're gonna have to do a Transylvania voice.
Absolutely not.
Or fake Russian.
Also, just... Oof. As another accent. The biggest issue with me in accents is that I'm scared to insult people on their accent because I do them so poorly.
I mean, that's what I was scared of with the Irish at first too, but I think I'm doing alright.
I don't know. I don't speak Irish.
I hope that you hear the Irish accent. And I think they, especially in this context, it isn't that big of an issue because we are clearly voice acting. We are doing voices of something else. So it is like less of an issue, I would say. Also, it's a fantasy world. They can have any accent that they like.
Hey, Nico, cousin, let's go bowling.
I don't know.
It's...
The Mao. Also, yeah, exactly. That was kind of my point. Like, it doesn't exist in this story. It's just a voice, an accent.
Yeah.
And in my story, that sounds this way.
Yeah,
Technically,
I
it's
guess
an
so.
island. It could be. It's an island.
The story lives. It's played on an island.
Yeah.
No idea where or what's around it. It's just that island, and that's it. Well, there is a smaller island.
There is. They are literally on the smaller island right now.
Yes.
Should have given everyone in the pub an Irish accent, and Ira could have been from there.
Yes.
No. That would have meant.
No.
That would have meant. I can't say that yet. No, never mind.
Shh.
I'll say that after this chapter. Let's do the chapter, then I can say it.
No, you don't have to say it. But yeah, Ira isn't from this island, so her accent is entirely different from the people on this island. Fair.
But let's do the chapter.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Apple. Do the exclamation point ready.
Do the thingy.
Do the thing. You get to do the thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Chapter 26. Meanwhile, in the port town, Lachlan, Valentina, and Hazard entered the local pub to find information and maybe a drink or two. They were greeted by a smell that was a mixture of alcohol, nectar, and smoke. The two men inhaled thoroughly. Hazard beamed a smile before exhaling in a sigh of reminiscence. Lachlan's face contorted. He tried faking a similar sigh as Hazard, but ended up with a slight cough. Valentina didn't partake in taking in the aromas of filth that this establishment invited.
Takes me back to the good old days. Pubs filled with cigarettes and sweat of my colleagues.
Hazard picked a table and sat down.
Any plans on who we can ask for information?
Lachlan looked over his shoulders at the other patrons. Astonishing crowd. You think they'd mind if I asked them information about themselves? Valentina had brought a notepad. A safe replacement for her bestiary to take into a place like this.
Maybe not right off the bat.
Lachlan answered, looking around. There was a mixture of creatures. Some looked unsavory, some looked like business people. A very diverse bunch.
Don't let the suits fool you,
Hazard said, following Lachlan's gaze.
They don't mean nothing.
Perhaps we can ask our questions to the staff. That seems to be our safest bet.
Apart from cranky, personnel are usually useful, if you're willing to pay up.
Hazard stood up, motioning to the others to follow him to the bar.
Excuse me. Excuse?
Lachlan signaled the bartender, but was swiftly ignored. So many other patrons needed tending to.
Hey! Unlike half of those schmucks, we are paying customers, and we want some information to boot.
Hazard's shout quieted the pub for a few seconds, before the roar of laughter and conversation sparked up again. It did, however, get the attention of the dwarven lady behind the bar. Her red hair bobbed his way around behind the counter, stepped on a stool, and propped herself against the bar with her spindly arms.
Hi, how can I help you?
The girl sounded overjoyed to the point of faking it.
We would like some information on the mountain. We know it's known as Warath Shian, but does it also go by which mountain?
Which mountain? I wouldn't know anything about that.
The girl put a finger to her cheek.
Which mountain? Never expected to hear that term again.
A patron at the bar said in a deep voice. Can you tell us more, perhaps? Valentina sat down next to the man. He lifted his jug of ale to his boar-like snout and emptied what was left.
I can, but I'd like another,
he said, shaking his jug.
Ales for the four of us.
Hazard ordered the bartender girl.
Which mountain is, in fact, Warath Shian? The term was lost to time as tourists became more prevalent. The island's council decided it needed a more mysterious name, and so Warath Shian was coined.
Boar-faced man's sentence was choppy, having to pause for a belch or a hiccup every other word.
What can we expect up on the mountain?
The bartender poured them all an ale and put them on the bar.
The usual wildlife. Goblins, gremlins, ogres, trolls, what have you. Some do say Warath Shian houses dragons, but I don't buy it.
The man took the pitcher. Dragons, you say? Valentina looked up from her notepad, surprised. Her eyes went from shocked to ecstatic in seconds. Oh, I'd love to interview a dragon, she muttered, going back to taking notes.
Well, good luck, little lady. Dragons aren't the talkative type, so unless you can take words from fire coming your way, you won't get far.
He took a swig of his ale. His pitcher was almost empty again, while Lachlan's and Valentina's barely got any attention. Hazard, however, took it with strides and was about to order another for himself.
Do we need to bring anything in order to deal with this wildlife? What are you gonna do? Exterminate them? They're harmless if you stay out of their turf. Another, please.
The man pushed his pitcher towards Hazard, and Hazard laughed in response.
We agreed on a drink. I believe that pitcher was filled with a drink. If you want more, get more yourself.
He laughed, clinking the empty pitcher with his own and taking a swig of his.
What happens if we do end up on their turf? Wouldn't you like to know, pretty boy?
The boar-faced man leaned in close to him. His heavy breath reeked of ale.
You know what to do to get me to talk. Well, listen here, you pig. We fulfilled your demands and made the agreement that you'd give us information we wanted.
Hazard seized the man's collar.
You've made a mistake. You've ended up on turf you shouldn't have entered.
He snapped his fingers, and in an instant several thugs stood up from different tables. Valentina scrambled to put her papers back into the bag as Lachlan moved in front of her slightly.
We didn't mean any harm. Then you shouldn't have brought it. Get 'em, boys.
The man shouted, his breath stunted by Hazard still holding him by the collar.
What are you doing with Boss, huh?
He broke our deal. We buy him a drink, he answers our questions. Seems a fair deal.
Hazard lifted the boar man off of his stool and dropped him to the floor. Lachlan and Valentina disappeared towards the shadows while the first few punches came flying in Hazard's direction. The two silently weaved through the crowds towards the door with the ruckus only getting louder.
Cheers and whoops started emerging from the crowd as more and more thugs lined up to join the fight, forming a circle with Hazard at the center, always accompanied by one other fighter. How do you think Hazard is going to get out of this? Valentina asked as they got outside unscathed.
I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go back in to help him out.
How did we get out? Only then did Valentina realize they were completely unseen.
Let's just be happy we weren't spotted.
Lachlan said calmly, withholding the fact that he used a cloaking spell to get them out. One thug after another was carried out of the circle, all going down in one hit from Hazard's metal fist. He wasn't undamaged either, bleeding at the brow, sweating and panting.
I'm going back in there. Try to put a stop to this. I want you to hold on to this ring. If I don't come back, you'll come back out. You'll have something to remember me by.
Lachlan pulled the thin silver band from his finger. What will you do? There are way too many in there, even for both of you. Valentina clutched the ring.
I'm going to use a lot of magic to create a safe passage. Stay outside. It's going to get cold in there.
With those words, Lachlan dashed through the doors. Snaking through the crowd, he made his way to the circle, his eyes a gleaming green, swirling a dark mist. Hazard had stacked the knockout count quite high, but nothing compared to what Lachlan was about to do. Obstructed by several thugs on his way to the fight pit, he pushed his hands together. From Hazard's perspective, people seemed to be passing out without reason. If you weren't preoccupied with punching someone so hard his knuckle print became a permanent feature on their face, glowing green handprints were left on the shoulders of unconscious crew on the floor, while Lachlan casually made his way through.
Hazard, it's about time we leave.
Lachlan shouted over the crowd.
That's about time, I'd say.
Hazard threw another thug out of the ring. Lachlan clapped his hands once more. His eyes turned from a green tornado into an icy blue blizzard. He conjured up a snowstorm with Hazard and himself in the eye of the storm. Everything went white. Cold. Colder than anything she had ever felt, the bartender girl crawled from under the counter, her red hair covered in snow. Never in her life did she expect to see her father's pub filled with ice sculptures of her regular patrons. The men that had caused this riot had vanished, a path of destruction, of snowy wind in their wake. Outside, the two men found Valentina, joined by Ira and Ides. Valentina ran up to Lachlan, throwing herself around his neck. I was so scared you both were gone, she sobbed. One look at Lachlan and Hazard had Ira and Ides on high alert. Instead of asking them there what the trouble was, they both took one of the men under their charge and hauled them off to the little camp they had made, Valentina hurrying with them too.
How? How was there snow there? That doesn't even make any sense. I mean, it's like summer. You were inside a pub. No snow was outside. How was there snow?
We got into some trouble.
You think?
Remember I told you a while back that I do a little magic? Maybe it's not such a little. I created that blizzard to get Hazard out of there. We barely made it out ourselves. It was freezing.
Ira, say something about this. I can't.
Ida's put her hands through her hair, and with all the grease, it stayed in the direction she tossed it.
All right, Ida's calm down. We are safe. All of us are fine.
We need to get you away from that pub first. If they come out of it or people see us too close, we might even need to move our camp immediately.
Okay.
Ida started moving again with Lachlan on her shoulder. Panicked breathing escaped her. I think we're a far enough distance.
And we got some information on the mountain. It wasn't all chaos, unfortunately.
We're almost to camp. Please explain it over there. Ira started walking slightly faster. Arriving at the campsite, Hazard and Lachlan darted for the fire. Their hair was matted by the melted snow. Shivering, they crawled closer to the heat.
Can you now explain what happened before we saw you guys carrying each other out of that pub?
At first, all three of them started talking together, but after a stern look from both Idas and Ira, it was Lachlan who recounted what had happened to them in the bar. I wish I could have seen more of your magic, Seawood said, the first to break the silence. A slight chuckle escaped from Lachlan as he looked away bashful.
I really shouldn't have used so much energy. It'll take some time to regain that.
Oh, I forgot to give this back.
Ah, yes. Thank you for holding on to my ring for me.
He grabbed the ring from her and put it on. The two silver bands reunited on his ring and middle finger. Is all your magic elemental? The Lyra asked, and Lachlan chuckled.
Not exactly. I'd like to find the element of interdimensional fruit. And until then, I'll grab them from my pocket instead.
He did as he said, pulling out an oblong-shaped fruit with a green to orange gradient. The Lyra gently smoothed her hand across Lachlan's shoulder, absorbing most of the water. I can't even think of eating right now, Valentina muttered, and then pointed at Hazard. I'm happy you both got out okay, but I can already see the bruises on his face.
Can't you help with that?
I could. I'm not fully sure he deserves it, but he did goad the man a good bit.
Well, he didn't pay his end of the bargain. If he cooperated, none of this would have happened.
He's a pub rat. Of course he's a swindler.
A bore, actually. One look from Ida's and Valentina fell silent again.
Why are you reacting so angrily? We made it out alive.
I don't know. I have a bad history with pubs and taverns. When you guys went in there, I got worried. My worries were realized when I saw you limp out of there.
Ida's dropped herself to the ground near the fire. Going into a new place always brings risk with it. Heading into the only drinking hole in town was worrisome. Ira agreed with Ida's. So, should we move the camp, like Ira said? Valentina asked quietly, stealing a glance at Ida's, hoping she was allowed to talk.
No. I think we're fine. I'm sorry about just now. I'll let the fear speak. You guys are okay. That is what matters.
It's been a long day. How about we eat and rest? Zenith has prepared dinner for us all. Some quiet nods were exchanged, making Zenith jump up excitedly. She handed the Lyra bowls to portion out the stew and handed everyone a bowl. In the dark summer evening, as the air cooled only slightly, they all found their place under the stars to sleep after dinner. All but Zenith, who tended to the fire, listening to all her friends, now safe, falling asleep around her.
Chapter.
Seems there is some healing to do after that fine amount of fisticuffs Hazard did. Surely Lachlan's ice stuff will help out. Yeah, well, he should have just taken some of that ice, because,
Yeah.
Valentina's like, nah, I think you did this yourself.
Yeah. On one hand, yes. On the other hand, maybe not as much.
Some of my favorite sentences were in this one. Of this stream. Like, Ida's is, like, hyper, oh my god, what did you do? Sentence is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's so fun to do.
It's funny. I love that sentence.
I mean, that was evident last time you started laughing.
Yeah.
It's your sentence. You wrote it.
It is. I'm happy I wrote it.
It's great. I like it. Also, some of the other sentences that were really, really bad when we did the walkthrough went well this time. I was like, yes, I got it.
Well, there's another chapter of more stuff to talk about, so...
Yeah.
There's a lot of words that are also not easy.
Yeah. So technically now I can say that if this island had been Irish, that would have been the Irish Mafia.
Yes. It would have been the mob.
Yes.
Could have made them Italian, but...
No, that would have been even harder. Not for the bruises, no, for his head. Gotta cool it down, maybe wash off the blood gives a bad visual.
Nice.
It's fair. Hazard is a little easy to rile, isn't he?
He's a little, accurate to his namesake.
He's a hazard, yes.
Hazardous, yes.
I do like him so much. He's a great character.
He's a very fun character.
Aronax.
Barnabas Aldithley.
It's a great name, but I like Hazard a lot.
It's definitely not something that fits him very well. Such a name.
No, definitely
Which is
not.
why he has such a name.
Yeah, that's why the nickname fully stuck completely.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a very fun character to write because he's usually the comedic relief.
Yes.
Just like Idas. Idas is also a comedic
I
relief.
mean, them together is dangerous.
A problem.
Dangerous.
Yes.
But they're great. I like them together. Shall we just head into the next one? He is a hazard, yes. They are a
Yes.
hazard.
Are you all ready for another chapter today? Last one of today.
Last one of the day, yes. I already have a headache.
Understandable.
I expected as much. It usually starts afterwards, though.
Yes, ready.
Okay,
Good.
let's go.
All right.
Chapter 27. A soft rustling was the one thing Zenith heard for most of the night. Her enhanced hearing could faintly distinguish some ruckus in town after a while, but none of that noise came towards their little camp. It did make her extinguish the fire, to make sure they were even harder to find during the night. She couldn't meditate. The events that the others described had struck a chord with her, remembering the stories her brother told her about keeping watch all night, to make sure no one would attack them, had her keep vigil. By the time the sun was coming up in the east, to the side of the mountain, she breathed a sigh of relief. Her limbs were sore and stiff, even her wings. She had them drawn up for most of the time, unintentionally. Just as she decided she wanted to start moving, she heard a sound of brush moving, or maybe plant material being shuffled away by feet. She looked around at her companions, unsure who she should wake. Only Idas and Lachlan were close enough for her to touch, without having to stand up and make much noise herself. She hunched over towards Lachlan and put a soft hand over his, hoping it wouldn't startle the man. He didn't flinch. The footsteps got louder and came closer. She jostled on one of his shoulders.
Come on, Lachlan. Please wake up.
Huh?
Shh, I hear something coming our way.
Zenith whispered, lying close to his face. The footsteps were coming ever closer. Indistinct conversation followed. There must be 3 people. Their footsteps almost rhythmic in the dead of the night, when suddenly a finger snapped.
What was that, Don?
Don't ask me. Somebody's nearby.
Lachlan held his hand above his head. From it, a bubble-like dome surrounded the entire campsite. Dehan and company came closer still, now only a couple of steps away from Lachlan's bubble shield.
There's nothing here, you buffoon.
I heard a snap, I'm sure.
Keep your voice down, Ganfrey. You'll alert the entire port town.
Sorry, Rohan. I know there was someone here.
Well, they must have left before we got here. Come on, we're wasting time. The morning doesn't last forever.
The men continued walking. After a couple of minutes, and out of earshot, Lachlan dropped the barrier.
Phew. They almost stepped on your wing.
Lachlan said, relieved, clutching his wrist.
That voice.
She hadn't been able to see the men because of how she had been positioned, but she recognized that voice.
That was the dragon.
She whispered, unsure how far the men had gone.
We should wake the others.
Are you certain? The dragon that attacked you in Tarlon? The guy we met in Cordova?
Absolutely. You couldn't see them? Zenith saw him holding and slightly massaging his wrist.
Well, was that too taxing on your magic?
I shouldn't have woken you up yet, she asked, realizing how much she needed to meditate to heal.
I didn't see them either, no. I was focused on my magic. I'll be fine. It'll take some time and rest, but I'll be fine.
Lachlan flexed his hand.
Take some more rest. I'll stay up. It's still really early. I can prepare some breakfast without a fire, so we can have some fuel for the trek up the mountains,
she offered, slightly frazzled. She gently pressed his shoulder down, insisting he lay down.
Get some rest in as well. The trek will be long. Let us clear the camp after breakfast while you sleep.
He laid down his head in his pillow, and within seconds his breathing deepened. I'll sleep when everyone else is up, she muttered, but not before she heard his breathing deepen. This only solidified her fear that things on the mountain, or people from town, weren't always friendly. She set herself on making a fruit salad and some sandwiches for everyone to share when they woke up. When it was a more appropriate time for the others to wake up, Zenith had already laid out a feast for them. Lachlan had gotten another 2 hours of sleep since their little shock earlier, but Zenith had been too wired to try. It wasn't until both Delira and Ira were fully awake and sitting up that Zenith spoke. Feel free to eat some of this breakfast. It should be enough for you all. I need to meditate for a little while, she admitted, then turned to Delira. My bag is packed and I'm ready to go. Will you wake me when it's time? Of course. Take your time. Thank you for breakfast. Delira moved towards the food and Ira followed. Minutes after the noise of movement started, the rest would wake as well.
I'm glad she's taking a rest after all. She has been vigilant the entire night.
Lachlan said when he noticed Zenith's meditative state. All night? Usually she meditates with us, right?
She was being careful, and a good choice it was.
He answered, rubbing a hand across his face. He looked a little worried.
A good choice to stay up all night right before we're about to scale a mountain? Doesn't sound like a good choice to me.
Ida stuffed some of the breakfast in her mouth.
She made sure we weren't followed. And we were.
All right, enough riddles. What happened? Be clear, Mosshead.
Hazard slapped him on the back and grinned at him. Lachlan explained what had occurred that night, how Rohan and 2 henchmen were near, how one of them unknowingly almost stepped on Zenith's wing, that he strained his hand holding an invisibility bubble around the entire camp, long enough to have him go unnoticed, and how Lachlan subverted a disaster all through the intel of Zenith.
Rohan's here! The dragon guy? He's escaped me twice, but I will get him for what he's done. I want my crystals back, and I will get them.
Ida's face slowly turned red in anger. So if we hear anyone named Dehan or Ganfrey, we should be on our toes.
Correct. We don't know what we're dealing with, so it's best to stay out of sight.
Staying out of sight sounds like the best plan, yes.
Perhaps we should start to move. Maybe they won't brave the mountain like we will. It might be safer there.
Safer? With the beasts mentioned, I don't think the trek will be necessarily safe, Ira mentioned, but she started to put her belongings in her pack. Zenith, I think we're ready to head to the foot and start our climb. Delira gently placed a hand on her shoulder. Zenith opened her eyes nearly immediately at the contact with her skin and showed a tentative smile towards Delira. Thank you. They all grabbed their bags, and in a steady pace they started their trek onto the base of the mountain. The first hour walking up the slope of the mountain was easy. It was only slightly slanted, and they could hold a conversation easily. After the second hour it became harder, steeper, and a little more of a challenge. They kept going until midday, not only to rest, but also to fuel up with some lunch.
All fueled up. Y'all ready to continue?
As opposed to us, you have half the biological limbs to worry about.
Lachlan sighed, happy to finally sit down for a minute. I'm excited to see the rest of the mountain too, but I could use a moment of rest, Ira said with a soft smile.
Oh, boo-hoo. Fine, we'll sit down.
Dejected, Hazard dropped himself next to Lachlan. Valentina sized up to the peak of the mountain. We're at a quarter or so of the way up, she said. It may take a full day to reach the peak, but do we need to go to the peak, or can we find a village lower somewhere? Well, nothing like that was mentioned in the text, I believe, Zenith muttered, grabbing one of the translations from her bag. It really just looks like a rock wall, although it doesn't make much sense to put a village right at the peak. There ought to be another resting spot where the town was built. Valentina tried to no avail to see anything resembling civilization.
So you're saying it may be on the other side of the mountain?
May also just be hidden. Who knows what kind of creatures or magics live up there? Delira shivered. If it was placed here somewhere, either we need to find some sort of water on the mountain, or it wasn't in the care of the water nymphs. Zenith looked at her questioning. I don't like being up here. I can already feel the air thinning, and it's only going to get worse. Yeah. I don't mind it up here at all. As someone used to sea level, I feel a little lightheaded.
I'm not big on heights either, and I'm already not that big. Maybe we should split. Otherwise, Dew and I may become a liability when we're up so high.
You may be right. Anyone else who wants to stay down here, or even descend back to the campground we made before?
I'm good to go. I have no trouble with heights.
I wanted to go when you pansies still needed to sit down.
I can go in either direction. I'll go with the ladies then.
Well, when should we return? Zenith asked. She was always a little nervous when the group split up. The feeling was perturbed. Words. Perpetuated, thank you, by the encounter that morning. Unease lay close to her skin all morning.
When we find something interesting.
It's a long way up. If we head back down periodically, we could be here for weeks. I think Hazard is right and that we should return after finding something interesting, Ira added, explaining more of his answer after seeing the nervousness on Zenith's face. Zenith nodded a little as she saw half of the group moving back down the mountain, with a little wave from eyebrows. Well then, shall we continue our climb? Valentina stepped forward, past Hazard, who took the lead from the start.
Thought you'd never ask.
Why are you so fired up about this mountain climb? You're normally only so excited about explosions or Pekuru or sleep.
I've gone mountain climbing when I was a child, in the days I still had all my limbs. It was on a mountain that I lost my arm. Got stuck somewhere. Most would take it as a sign to never going up a mountain again, but not me. I was determined to best every mountain I saw.
Hazard looked towards the top. The forest thinned out before it reached that high, with the very top almost touching the clouds. Zenith looked back once more. Lachlan, Delira, and Idas had vanished from view, making their way back down. Slowly but surely, the four started moving. Valentina and Hazard at the front, followed by Zenith and Ira. When she saw Zenith's worry-filled face, Ira put an arm around Zenith's shoulder and gave a small hug as they continued walking. And finito for today.
For today, yes.
There is a difference.
That's the end of the story.
Yeah, there you go.
They split up. Good luck.
I mean, that is technically what like good writers do for all the books that are behind me. Like, they'll end a book on a cliffhanger, like an actual cliffhanger, and be like, "Oh, well, you gotta wait for a year,
Yeah,
to know the rest of this."
you can imagine the rest yourself.
Oh no, you can't. I don't even think that I ever thought it was gonna go the way that we made it go. I do love it though; it's great. I'm excited for what's coming.
Yeah.
You're gonna get another
Hell
cool
yeah.
voice.
We're gonna get another cool 5 books.
Yes, I should hope so. But yeah, that's
Gonna
it
be
for
dope.
today.
Hell yeah.
Yes, good stuff is coming. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to thank you guys for being here every time, you know?
Yeah, same.
Like, it's really hard to keep up with something, with anything, honestly. And you guys have been here and up to date, listening along, even during Halo streams.
Yes.
Like, you've been a dedicated audience, and I really appreciate that.
Yes. There have definitely been a few that will be here through anything. Watch it immediately if they can't be there in the day itself.
Yeah.
It does make me feel really good about our work.
So yeah, thank you very much.
I hope you guys will stay until the end, but I think we're gonna write the 7 books either way. Because we have so many ideas.
Hell yeah. All of them.
All of the books.
All of the ideas.
All of the things. Hurts. Oh, there's a puppy. That's cute.
Yeah, it's Ghost Oak.
Mmm. That is fair.
Can't imagine not being here. Thank you.
That's great. I mean, you are one of those that if you're not here for the thing, then you're here as soon as you will watch it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 2 more that are also cute.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many people that still have those. I'm very stubborn. Yes, I can't do that one. I need the other tier for that, and it's more expensive. And you're not streaming. Maybe if you start streaming again.
No, why would you? Such a waste of money.
Because I really like that emote. That's why.
I guess.
Yes. Well, I usually never have anything better to do, so being anti-IRL social as I am. Yeah. That's fair.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, we wouldn't know anything about that.
No, we don't suffer from crippling social anxiety. What do you mean?
Well, I don't with my friends, thankfully. But I do with everyone else. Relatable.
Relatable. Hashtag relatable.
Yes. I do hope everyone had fun. That it was a good stream again.
I had fun.
Well, that is one of the most important ones.
Did you?
Yes. I felt a
Good.
little silly not being able to figure out the word. Yeah, no, that one. The one that I couldn't figure out.
Perpetuated.
Perpetuated, that one. I did it perfectly in the walkthrough. I remember that.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
No,
I actually
you did not.
did.
No, you did not.
I think I did.
No, you did not. Absolutely not. You messed up the word entirely, but just glanced over it and continued.
That's fair. Probably would have been better for you. It might be true. Perpetuated.
Yes. In rehearsal, you also said perpetrated.
Perpetrated. Yeah, it was like, that's wrong though. But I thought I said
That
it
is
right
wrong.
in the first one.
Nope.
It's your word. I get to
Uh-huh.
blame you for making me say the word. I should make you do the narration.
Well, if you do,
Suddenly no more streams.
exactly. If you make me do the narration, you're gonna do the narration on your own anyway.
Bah. I mean, you've done narration before. You've
I
done
have.
the entirety of Home in
Yes.
Halo.
I have done some narration on some chapters, and I noticed that it really isn't my thing.
That's fair. I don't think I'm ridiculously good at it, but I think I'm okay at it. I think I use enough.
I know I'm
inflection.
not good at it,
That's fair.
but I
will,
also have no desire to get better at it.
I will disagree, but that's fair. I mean, I mess up words too. I think you're great at intonation, which is something that a storyteller does need.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, I didn't expect you to want to narrate.
Yeah, no.
Unless I would do like one little segment of like a guy's perspective, you might change your mind for that. But just for a little
Yeah,
bit.
maybe.
I won't make you do another 3 chapters. Just on your...
Thank you. It also, me not doing narration gives me the opportunity to make more crazy voices. The Rohan voice or the Baal voice are so horrible for your voice
Mm.
that narration isn't going to be smooth afterwards.
No, that's fair. I think that's also why I have a little bit of an issue with IDAS sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Although it's technically not rough on my voice, but it is a rough voice.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel wrong. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't do anything wrong in my physical aspect of a voice. But it is definitely a lot rougher than my natural voice. So it is a bit difficult sometimes.
It's like relieving an itch. Technically, you're not damaging yourself because you're scratching, but you are scratching it. You are hurting. If you continue that, it would actually turn into a problem.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
So with whatever voice you put up, it doesn't matter if that is because you want to change your own voice, if that is to do voice acting, if that is through singing. It doesn't matter why you would change your own voice, but do it carefully.
Yeah.
And make sure that whatever you do, give it enough rest and give it enough time to actually be able to change in that way.
Yeah.
The biggest issue is messing up your voice so far that you either lose it or have to have like medical treatment for it, and that is a big issue.
Don't want to lose your voice temporarily. Not fun or recommended. No.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's I do like the narration anyway, so I usually don't really mind that I'm the one doing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I had a little bit of a reprieve, though. Especially when there's a lot of female voices.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun.
It's good. It's good.
Oh, chat's a little slowed down a little bit. We're done with the story. I don't have anyone to raid.
I don't have anyone either.
So...
We've also been here for almost 2 hours, which is far longer than usual.
Which is why I'm starting to wrap it up. I would say do your outro.
Yes, or you do your outro.
I mean, my outro is just, well, thanks for being here, bye!
Well, that's an outro.
But you like doing your outro.
Don't you?
I don't really have a set one like you do. Thank you all for watching. You can do yours.
You can, go ahead.
I'm actually not that great at yours because I haven't heard it in 3 weeks.
I haven't said it in 3 weeks.
Exactly.
And I've said it a lot more.
Yes. You have a set one.
Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed as much as we did. And we'll see you in the next one.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.